Hello and welcome, student. Before we start solving previous tests and exams, I would like to make this important disclaimer. The following will be just a practice exam, and it's only intended for revision purposes only. So it has nothing to do with your actual exam. It is not a model for your exam. It's just for you to revise, to test yourself, to practice more, keep yourself with a timer, be in the exam environment. You shouldn't assume the actual exam will be identical to this one. It's also crucial before you start viewing this review is that you complete all the homework problems, look at the lecture notes, and watch the previous video to ensure a thorough preparation for the exam. This is only a practice exam. It's just for revision. It will not help you understand the material. You need to do the homework, lecture notes, watch the videos before you come and see this exam. Now we will solve the first practice final exam, and this is a previous final exam from the second semester of 2023-2024. So this is an actual real final exam that a student in the past has already taken, and we will do it as only practice final exam. So this is not exactly like your exam, but it can serve as a final exam. So just let me write here practice final exam. In this final exam, as you can see from the first page, it has 20 multiple choice questions as well as 4 written questions. So let's tackle the written question first, and then we will go to the multiple choice questions. This exam should be solved in 2 hours. So what I advise you to do as usual, when you are set at home and get ready to the exam, watch this part again, pause the video here, just pause it. Try to solve the exam by yourself, and then compare your answer with the answer that you will see in the following. So we go the first question, and in the first question, we are giving the marginal cost function. So remember, the marginal cost function is another word of saying we are giving you the derivative of the cost. And we are asking you what was the cost. So I give you C prime, and I'm asking you what was the original function, which is just C. So C prime, and I want C. And how we can accomplish that? We accomplish that using the integral. So remember, C of x equal the integral of the derivative, dq. And now, what is the derivative? It was q squared plus 7q plus 6 dq. Now we need to find this integral. And how do we find the integral of this one? Q squared, we add 1 to the power, we get cube over 3. 7q, it will become 7q squared, we add 1 and we divide by that power. And because we have 6, we just write 6q. And don't forget, there is a constant d of the function. This is c of x. The next step, we need to find this d. So find d. How are we going to find d? Of course, we must have some information in the question, or we might just think about it ourselves. So let's see how we will think about it ourselves. We will just go through the idea that the fixed cost, remember, what is the fixed cost? The fixed cost is the cost when we don't produce anything. This is the cost we have to pay regardless of anything. So this is q equal to 0. So what we will do, we will substitute every x by 0. So if I just use a different color. So here we put 0 equal to. Now, instead of every q you can see in the question, 7 over 2 squared, 6 times q plus d. Every q you can see, just substitute it with 0. How do I know it is 0? Because it's given to me that when you substitute 0, you should get 2,500. So now I know that if I substitute 0, this should be 2500. Now 0 cube is 0, 0 square is 0, 6 times 0 is 0. So all of these are 0. The only number we get here is this d. And that's what we get here. Thus, let me just summarize what we did. Thus, C of a q equal to q cube over 3 plus 7 over 2q squared plus 6q, and then we just have to add 2500 as an extra. Now, this is the cost function. The final answer, we need to substitute q equal to 6. Why exactly 6? Because it's given to me in the question. So what is C of 6? All what you need to do, use your calculator, substitute 6, 6, 6, and write for me the final answer here. So if we do it with PD, the answer will be 2734. And this is my final answer here. So what we did, first step, we find the integral of derivative. We get a constant d, we find the value for d, and now we get into this part here. That's the first part here. Let's go to the second part, and if you can read it, we need to find something, we call it average value. Now you might ask yourself, what is the average value? Remember, the average value has a formula. So if we solve it here, average value of a function, if we have an interval, it is 1 over b minus e, integral from a to b, f of x dx. Now in this equation, my b is given here. This is b, and the first number in the interval is a. So it will be 4 minus 0, integral from 0 to 4, and then we have 3x squared minus 2x dx. We need to find this integral. This is 1 over 4. And now we need to find this integral, and then we substitute from 0 to 4. Now, what is the integral of x squared? It is x3 power 3, but because there is another 3 here, they get cancelled. So in short, we get x3 minus x squared. Now, of course, the final step, as we just mentioned, what you need to do, substitute every x with 4, and then substitute every x with 0, and you will get two numbers, and those are the answer. So you get 1 over 4. Now, if we substitute with 0, the answer will be 0. If we substitute with 4, the answer will be just 48. So finally, the final answer is 48 over 4. So the final answer is just 12. And that's the answer. So all what we did here in the average value, we write the formula for the average value, which is this one. We write b as 4 and a as 0, and we do the integral. Integral of 3x squared is x cubed. Integral of 2x is x squared. Then we substitute x equal to 4. We get 48 if you use the calculator. Then we substitute x equal to 0. We get 0. 48 minus 0, just 48. And then we divide by 4, we get 12. Next question, we need to find the area of the region bounded by the graph. Remember, finding the area, first step, let me write it down. Step number 1, we need to sketch the region. Now we have to sketch the region. Now let's look at this function here, which I will do it in red. This one. This is, first of all, we know it will look like a parabola, and because the number of in front of x squared, which is a, is equal to 1 and it's positive, it will look like parabola upward. So in order to sketch this one, we need to find what we call it the vertex. And remember how we find the vertex from pre-calculus? Using the formula minus b divided by 2e. Now, I don't have any b because b should be the number in front of x, but because you don't have an x, you get 0 divided 2, the final answer is 0. If you have x, you will look for the y, and the y will be negative 6. So the vertex point, that's very important, is 0, negative 6. Now you are asking you, what does the vertex point means? Remember, it is a parabola going upward, so it will look like this one, but I need to find this here, which we call it the vertex. I need that one in order to sketch this parabola. And now we can sketch the parabola. So if I just sketch it maybe here. And now you have to go to 0 minus 6, which is this one, and you need to do it as parabola. So this is the function y equal x squared minus x. Now we finish from the first function. Now let's go to the second function. I will do it in orange. This is just a line, and this is a very easy line because this is a horizontal line. Not just a line, it's a horizontal line. And this horizontal line is exactly at 3. So this one. And this is y equal to 3. Remember, if x equal number, this is a vertical line. Y equal a number, this is horizontal line. And if there is x and y, each of them, they have degree 1. This is just the usual line. What we need to do next? Next, as usual, find the intersection point. So step number 2. Find the intersection points. How do we find the intersection point? We have two y, one in red, one in orange. We make them equal. The y in red is x squared negative 6. The orange one is 3. We make them equal. Now, if we move 3 to the left side, we get x squared minus 9 equal to 0. If we solve this one, we will get two numbers, negative 3 and x equal to 3, which makes sense, something in the positive, something in the negative. So we find the intersection points. Final step, in order to find the area, we need to find what is the top, what is the bottom. So we put rectangle in the middle of my region. And we ask ourselves, if this rectangle, what is the top one, what is the bottom one? So step number 3, what is the area? The area will be the integral from AB, top minus bottom, dx. So the integral will be, what is the top function? As you can see from the picture, is the orange function, so it will be just the 3, minus, what is the bottom function? The bottom function is the red function, which is x squared minus 6. Now, from where should I start my integration to where should I end my integration? Remember, look at your rectangle. If you move it maximum to the left, you will end up here, which is minus 3. If you take this rectangle and you move it maximum to the right, it will get shorter and shorter and shorter until it becomes here, which is a 3. So we do it from negative 3 to 3. This integral will be just negative 3 to 3. And now it will become minus x squared. Why it is minus x squared? Because it's negative. And then we have 3 minus minus 6, which is just 9 dx. Now this is a very straightforward integral here. We can do it let me just take this one here. just do it here. Now, what's the integral of minus x squared? It is negative x cubed over 3 plus 9x. Now, one time we need to substitute 3 with the calculator. Minus, we need to substitute negative 3. And then we subtract them. If we do that correctly, the final answer will be 36. And that's our final answer here. So that's how we do this area question, which needs some steps and needs some practice. Sketch the region, find the intersection point, and boom, you have the area, top minus bottom, you get the answer. Next question is something we have seen at the very last thing of this course, which we call it producer surplus. And there is a formula for producer surplus. And we need to find that producer surplus at the market equilibrium. So just let me remind you what was the producer surplus. It was the integral from 0 to q naught, and then we have the b0 minus the supply function. Supply dq dx, oh no, this is dq. So what we need to find, first of all, we need to find b0, q0. So I substitute them here. The supply is written given to me in the question. It says the supply equation is, and I have it here. So if you just want me to start with the supply, minus, and then here we have the supply, which is 10q minus 300 dq. Now, how to find the market equilibrium? We do the following. We have to write the demand equal supply, which means the demand 900 minus qc squared should equal to the supply, which is 10q plus 300. Move everything to one side. So move this 10q to this side, move the 300 to this side. It will go with negative, so we'll get 900 minus 300, and that's 600. So we will end up with minus q squared minus 10q plus 600 equal to 0. This will give you two answers. Either q equal to 20, which fair enough, it's a good answer, or q will be just negative 30, and that's rejected. Why it's rejected? Because we don't have any quantity which is negative. So that's what we get here. All right, so we find this 20 here for q. Now we need to find b0. How do we find b0? It's up to you. Either choose the first equation to substitute q equal to 20, or choose the second equation. It's up to you. I will choose the second equation. If you choose the second equation, b0 will be just 10 times 20, just this one, and the answer will be 500. So here we'll get 500. And now we can find this integral. This is 0 to 20. 500 minus 300, this will give me just 800 minus 10q dq. This is just a usual definite integral that we can always find, which will give me 800q minus 5q squared. And that's the answer. One time we substitute 20, the other time we substitute 0. So the final answer will be just 2,000. And I think the unit is dollars. So we just use the dollar sign. And that's how we solve the producer surplus. Of course, if it was consumer surplus instead, so we will switch this, and this will be changed by the demand. And that's how we do both of them. What we will do next is we will go to the questions where we have the multiple choice. Now for multiple choice, some of them will be very fast to be found, some of them will need some steps. So you have to navigate your way during multiple choice questions. It's not like the written, you have to do all the steps at once. Sometimes try to be as fast as you can. We'll start with the first question from the first chapter. We need to find this limit. Well, if you remember the first step, we need to expand this one. And remember, to expand a plus b all square, this will give you the first square, the second square, and then you have to do 2 times first times second. So 2ab. So this would be just limit as h goes to 0. You have this 3, and now you have a big bracket, minus 3x squared divided by h. Now, how do we expand this one? This being expanded by x squared, 2xh, and finally h squared. And this is limit as h goes to 0. H. Now, take the 3 inside for each one of these. What we're gonna get? We're gonna get 3x squared, 6xh, 3h squared minus 3x squared. There is a clear cancellation. The first and the last are the same with different sign. So we end up with 6xh plus 3h squared divided by h. Take h as common factor. We get 6x plus 3h over h. Cancel h with h. And now we get this one. 6x plus 3h. Now the final step, just substitute h equal to 0. So we get 6x as the final answer. And that's the answer here. That's the first question. Now for the second question, we have to find the derivative, but there is a ln. So the first step first, we will do the same as we did before. The first step, we need to rewrite this one using the properties of the ln. Remember, if we have the ln of the quotient, it will be ln A, ln b, and there is a minus between them. So it would be ln x squared plus x minus ln of x. And now we find the derivative of the ln. Remember, the derivative of the ln is whatever inside the ln, and then we do the derivative of the inside in the numerator. So what's the derivative of x? It's just 1. For the second part, you write the whatever inside the ln, and then you do the derivative of the inside, and you write it in the numerator, which is 2x plus 1. Now you need to tell me which one of these answers correspond to this one. Of course, the one with the plus, I don't want to see it. That will be eliminated. Now I have two options. There is 2x minus 1, there is 2x plus 1. For me, my answer was the one with the plus. So I just take this one. Question number 3. Again, we have to use the chain rule to find the derivative of the square root. Remember, the derivative of the square root is very easy. I don't care about the 10. The derivative of the square root is 2 square root. And here you need to write whatever inside and then you need to do the derivative of the inside. So it is 1. Here you write everything the same, and now you go ahead and find the derivative of the inside here, which is just 2x. So the final answer will be square root of x squared plus 1. Now you can see 2 with 2 get cancelled, and I have x with 10, so on the top I will just get 10x. Now which one of these answers correspond to this one? It is part C. Remember, in this question, I just want to remind you, I use that the derivative of the square root is a formula that we always do is 1 over 2 square root of x. Now, if there is u here, then you need to multiply by u prime. That's what we call it, the chain rule. Now, look, we finished very quickly from 3 questions in the multiple choice. We will go next to another 3 questions in this page. In this page, I have 2 functions multiply with each other, and I need to find the derivative. So for this one, the derivative, we will use the product rule. Why do we need the product rule? Because product rule is telling me how to find the derivative of products. Product rule says derivative of first times the second plus first times derivative of second. That's the product rule. Very easy, very simple. You just need to remember derivative of first times second plus first times derivative of second. Now, what's derivative of x, which is first? It's just 1. What's derivative of second, which is ex? Remember, ex is just ex. Final step, just substitute with your calculator x equal to 0. So you write in your calculator, this is 0, this is 0, this is 0. The answer will be 1, which is part A. Question number 5, we need to find the integral of this one. So remember, if we don't have any x, the answer will be the same. If we have any number here, k, the answer will be kx. Now this number is -1, so here we get -x. Now substitute 1, you get -1. Substitute 0, you get 0. The final answer is -1, which is B. Question number 6. Ooh, question number 6 is so nice because we will use substitution method, or we call it the power rule. How do we know that we need to use the power rule? Look, we have power 6, and then I have something, I will call it u, and this is look like u prime, but it's not exactly u prime. What is the derivative of u? It is 10x power 4. So I'm missing the 10. So how we do that if we are missing the 10? I'll just add this 10 so that I can go ahead with it. So add this 10 and divide by this 10. Now we are in the perfect situation. This is u and this is u prime. So the answer is just add 1 to the power and divide by the new power. So here we have 1 over 10. If we add 1 to the power, which is twice 6, it becomes 7, and then we divide by 1 over 7. Now, 7 and 10, this is 70, and there is only one answer that has 70, which is part D. Now we go to question number 7. In question number 7, we have seen this before. What we need to do, we split up the fraction. Each one will take x. There is no other way because I don't have any idea what to do. Now, what is square root? It will be x power half divided by x plus 1 over x. which if we simplify it, it will be x power negative half plus 1 over x dx. Why negative half? Because this is half, this is 1. If we take it up, it will be negative 1. And the final answer is x. If we add 1, we get half, and here we have 2 plus ln absolute value of x plus c, which is the same as 2 square root of x ln absolute value of x plus c. And that is part B. Question number 7, we ask ourselves, what is the derivative of the denominator? It is 2x minus 2. I don't have it here. So what we will do for this question, I will add the 2, which the one I need. This is the shortcut for the logarithmic integration. So we get 1 over 2. Now you have u and you have u prime. Remember, if you have u prime over u and you do integration, this is just ln. So the answer here would be ln x squared minus 2x plus 7 plus c. Which one of these are corresponding to this answer? Is the only part is A, because the only one that have half is A. Now, remember, what is e pi? Now, remember, e pi, this is constant. Please don't mix it up with ex. This is just e pi, just a number. So remember, if we have k, we said the answer is kx. Now, if we have e pi, the answer is e pi x, which is we'll go now to our business application. A manufacturer have marginal revenue. Remember, when we see the word marginal means this is the derivative. And now we want to find the revenue itself. So how do we find R? We take the derivative and we do integration, which is integral of 100 minus 3q squared bq, which if we do it, it will be 100q minus q cubed plus, of course, a constant d. Now, how do we find this d? Remember, if we substitute q equals 0, if we didn't sell anything, the revenue will be 0. So we put here 0, this is 0, put 0, this is 0, plus d. So d will be also equal to 0. So here r of q, 10q minus q cubed, and that is part A. Question 11, find the slope of the tangent line. What does it mean, slope of tangent line? Slope of a tangent line, it means derivative, which we call it y prime. How do we find derivative? Remember, this is, we just need to do implicit differentiation. What's the derivative of 2x squared? This would be just 4x minus derivative of 10x is just 10. Now, when we come to derivative something with y, we take the derivative as usual, so it will be 6y squared, but then we add y prime. Derivative of 14 is 0, the answer is 0. Now, I want to find this one. So this one, take everything to the other side, will become minus 4x plus 10 y prime. So y prime alone is just negative 4x plus 10 over 6y squared. Now, none of these answers here is this one. Why? Because he gave me the value for x and y to substitute with. So what you need to do next, remove every x and write instead of x 2. So I will write 2 instead of x, and for the y, I will write minus 1. Now, with your calculator, just find this answer, which will be 2 over 6, which is 1 over 3. And the answer is C. So sometimes you need to do implicit differentiation and you need to substitute the number. Well, again, it's giving to me that the instantaneous rate of change. Remember, instantaneous rate of change, this is another word for derivative. So we have the derivative of f is equal to 5. Write the equation of the tangent line of f of x at x equal to 1. Remember, equation of the tangent line is y minus y0 equal the slope x minus x0. Now, we know what is y0. This is y0, which is a 3, equal x minus x0. This is y0. And of course, this would be x0. Now, how much is the derivative? Well, the derivative is given to me as 5. So here is the derivative. How do I know it's the derivative? Because it says the instantaneous rate of change. So we get y minus 3 equal 5x minus 5. Take the 3 to the other side, you get 5x minus 2. Now, which one is 5x minus 2? It is part C. And that's question number 12. Next is question number 3. Question number 13. Determine whether the function is concave upward or downward. How do we find upward or downward? We just need to find the derivative. But the first derivative will just give me increasing or decreasing. So what I need is the second derivative, which will be 6x minus 12. Now, if we substitute 6, the answer will be 36 minus 12, 24. And the 24 greater than 0, so this is concave upward. Find the interval where the function is increasing. Remember, if we want to find where the function is increasing, we need to find the critical number. So we write it equal to 0. So we get x squared minus 8x plus 10 equal to 0. We get two numbers for the x. Either x is sorry, I didn't find the derivative here. I should find the derivative here. It should be 2x minus 4. So there is only one answer, which is x equal to 2. Now, what we need to do next, write the number line. Write the only number you have, which is 2, and find for me the sign of f prime. How do we find the sign of f prime? Take a number here, which is 0, and substitute it in f prime. This will be all negative. So it's negative, 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 negative. That means this decreasing. Now take a number which is greater than 2, 3. If you substitute 3, this is positive. So everything here is positive. And that's going upward. So if it's plus and all plus, this is increasing here. So the increasing will be from 2 to infinity. Oh, I'm sorry, I did another mistake here. This is 8. So this is 4. So this is 4. So it will be from 4 to infinity. Next question, what is the derivative? If this is the derivative What is f of x? Again, x power 9. If we add 1 to the power, it becomes x10 divided by 10. But then there is another 10 would get cancelled with this 10, so we just get x10 plus c. Now, look at this question. This is a very nice question because I have the integral is e square root of x. So if you do the integration, you will get this one. How to get f back? So we have to do the opposite. So we need to find the derivative of e square root of x d by dx, which is, again, it will be the same times the derivative of the inside, which is 1 over 2 square root of x. And which one of these is the answer? I think it is just part A. Next question. We have the integral from 1 to 10, and then we have the integral from 10 to 1. The answer is 0. Why? Good question. First of all, I need to switch those. So there will be 1 to 10 minus 1 to 10. How do I know that? Because remember, when we switch, we change the minus. Minus, minus, we get just 0. Now, this question, again, we will do the idea of split the fraction. So we will get integral of ex over ex minus 1 over ex dx. The first one is 1. The second one is e minus x dx. How we find the integral of 1? Is just x. Integral of e kx, it is the same, e kx. But because there is a k here, we divide by k. So it will be minus, it will be the same, minus x, and then we divide by minus 1. Which means the final answer would be just x plus e minus x plus c, which correspond to part A. Question 19. We have ln of x power 4. Now, first of all, let me just rewrite this one using the ln properties. What happened to number 4? It can go down, so we get ln x. Now, this is easy. What is derivative of ln? Just 1 over x. And this is part C. Last question. Again, we have u and we have u prime. So we are doing the integral of eu du. The answer is the same, eu. So the answer would be just ex5 plus c, which correspond to part D here. And that's the practice final exam. I wish you have get an idea of questions in the final exam. They are scattered here and there. You have to practice. You have to watch all the videos for this course. Practice the exam homework, and finally do this practice exam by yourself and then